Welcome, everyone. I want to welcome you back to Living Well. I am so excited to have each and every one of you here again this week where we can discuss more about how to take care of our bodies. Before we start, I just want to mention our disclosure. Now, what we do here on Living Well, the presentation that we present week after week, is for educational purposes only. If you have any condition or concerns medical about your medical condition, please go to your physician and discuss your health problems with them so that they can direct you the best way to treat yourself. So we just want to educate you so you have the knowledge so you can know questions to ask your doctor and how to maybe take better care of yourself. Today we have a special guest, Monica Spence, and I am so excited to hear what she has to say about hereditary cancer. Now, Monica is a hereditary specialist. She teaches and educates nurses and doctors in testing, ways how to test for different types of cancer. She has been doing this for a while and she has lots of knowledge that she can share with us so that we can take better care of ourselves. Monica, thank you for coming to join us today. And I hope this will not be your last. you, you will come back to share more of your knowledge with us.
Absolutely. And thank you
Without any
very
further
much.
ado, we're going to turn it
I
over to you. Thank you.
appreciate it. I really do. I am Monica Spence, and I am a hereditary cancer specialist. And those are kind of fancy words for, I'm a patient advocate. So I'm a patient advocate for not only the staff and the doctors and the nurses, but for the public. When I go out and I educate the doctors, because I start with the doctor's offices, I ask them one of two questions. The first question is, when you have your patient and your patient comes into your office for their wellness visit, do they fill out a form? Do they receive a questionnaire? And on that questionnaire, do you have a question that asks about cancer? And most of the physicians, especially the primary physicians, they agree, they say they do have that in their intake form. And I ask them next, what do you do with that information? And surprisingly, they file it. They file it away. And I asked them, why do you file it away? And their number one answer is, because I don't know what to do. I just make a note of it. And I just, I don't know what to do. So I'm a problem solver. And when I hear that problem, I'm there with a solution. And the solution is, let's take it a step further. Let's ask more probing questions. And if they meet the criteria, let's get them tested. So let me take a step backwards and let's talk about hereditary cancer and what is hereditary cancer. When we look at hereditary cancer, we must look at genes. And we all know that we receive two pairs of genes from each parent. We receive a set from our mother and we receive a set from our father. Within those genes are DNA sequences. And so within the DNA sequences, that determines our characteristics, our physical, our biological characteristics. So it's inherited. And when we look at genes that have cancer, we're looking at truly mutated genes. okay? They've mutated, so they're a cancerous gene. And technology these days can identify certain genes with a certain mutation for a certain cancer. It's amazing. So we can go beyond just breast and ovarian. We can go to up to 81 genes, believe it or not, that are related to cancers. So let's step back and let's each think of our families, okay? Let's think of our personal family. Let's think, is there a mother, a father, a sister, a brother, an auntie, an uncle, a grandmother, or a grandfather who has or has had cancer? The next question I want you to ask yourself, out of the cancers, all the cancers that are out there, was one of them or two of them breast, ovarian, prostate, pancreatic, gastric, melanoma, skin, uterine, renal, or colon? All 9 of those cancers I just listed are hereditary. So they don't come from the environment. They don't come from smoking. They come from a mutated gene that has passed down. And you have a 50-50 chance if, let's say, your mother has had or has breast cancer. You have a 50-50 chance of getting that mutated gene. I'm gonna hit you with some stats. 1 of 8 women in the United States within her lifetime will have breast cancer. I'm gonna hit you with another stat. Between 70 to 80% of those individuals that have cancer have never had a hereditary test done. So what does that mean? They by chance found out they had cancer. And my test will get ahead of just accidentally finding out. Because if you have that knowledge that you carry a mutated gene, does that mean you will get cancer? No, it doesn't mean that. So I don't want people to be afraid to take the once in a lifetime test. This test will only let you know if you have a higher than normal risk because you have that mutation. So if you have the knowledge that you carry a mutated gene, you're gonna think differently. There's insurance will cover and surveillance you at no cost. You have proof that you have a gene that could potentially turn cancerous. So you get an MRI, you get additional mammograms, you get colonoscopies done, you get whatever you need to get done at no charge to you to prevent. Because we know if we can prevent it, we're going to save in costs. True story I'm going to share with you, 2 stories. One is a personal story. And the reason why I do what I do. So there was this young lady at 32. She was taking a shower and she found a lump in her breast. And then, she went to the doctor, and the doctor said that she had 3 weeks and he was going to remove her breast because she had the most aggressive cancer that's out there. Metastatic breast cancer, triple negative at 32. She just happened to find a lump in her breast. So she went to her mother, and her mother got tested. No history of breast cancer. She went to her father, and her father let her know her auntie passed away of breast cancer. Grandmother passed away of breast cancer. So it's unfortunate, but there's breast cancer in their family. So her father had the mutated gene and passed it down to her. And that young lady is my niece. She has 3 sisters that they share the same father. All 3 sisters had to get tested for the hereditary cancer. The youngest sister, has the mutated gene, and the oldest has it. The middle one doesn't. So that's how hereditary can pass through. It won't necessarily be the women. And I have to explain, we all come from women. So the genes pass through, in her case, from her father. And she's had her surgery. She had a double mastectomy. So instead of just having one breast removed, because she had an inherited gene, she had to have both. Similar to Angelina Jolie, her mother passed away, her auntie passed away. She had the genetic test, like my test, and she had the gene. So she made the decision to remove her breast. So this test is very important if you have a history of cancer within your family directly related to individuals, and a screening tool that now we use and I support and I educate my doctors. When they do that screening on the intake form, they also will present this form. And I'm going to screen share so that you see what the form looks like. Can you guys see it? Everyone can see it? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I
Everyone
can see it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a very simple screener, and this will be at any front desk, primary physician, oncologist. We offer one that's a little more detailed, but what we want to do is kind of trigger your mind and get you thinking right there in the waiting room. If you check even one of these, then you meet the criteria for your insurance company to cover the test. Now, what is under the insurance company with the test? That's a question that I get asked often. So it's covered with any government plan by law, Obamacare, Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, any kind of government program. Commercial, we accept all insurances, but insurance is different for everyone. I mean, people have high deductibles, you name it. The great thing about this is we have compassionate care. If you don't want to run it through insurance, a compassionate care, it's very flexible. For example, a family of 4, one individual income less than, I think, 53,000 a year, the test is free. Let's say you're adopted and you don't know the history, or you come from a family where, like mine, where you really don't talk about cancer because everyone's afraid if you talk about it, you're going to get it. So if you wanted to pay for it, it's $249 max out of pocket cash. You know, it's kind of like the cost of a DNA ancestry test, you know. And like I said, you only take it once because we look at your genes, and we could take a blood or saliva. Most people do the saliva. They're used to doing a saliva, and we send it in to the lab. It takes between 10 to 14 days for results, and you have your own personal portal as well as your doctor, and you get the results. Now, 10 to 12% of the population will be hereditary cancer, which is very small, right? You would think, okay? It is very small compared to the other cancers. But let me share with you another story. Okay, this is personal again. So my really, really good friend lives in Orlando, and I have been asking her to go and get tested. You know, if you know me, and if I know you have a history of cancer in your family, you are not going to go to sleep, because I'm going to be like, test, you know. And so finally, she said, okay, Monica, okay. And I said, okay, Constance, you have your auntie, your mother died of pancreatic cancer. Your husband died 2 years ago of pancreatic cancer. You have cancer throughout your family. Let's test everyone. So she has an 18-year-old daughter. She has a 23-year-old son. And then she's one of 9. And her youngest sister lives with her, and she's 36. So I got them all together, and we're all testing. And it was funny because her sister comes in and she's like, I'm not afraid to die. I'll take the test. And I'm like, it is not that kind of test. We are trying to get ahead if there's anything. Okay, so I tested all 4 of them, and they all 4 came back. And what do you think? How many tested positive?
3.
You think 3? Okay, Lenore, how many do you think?
I think 3.
Okay,
Yeah, I was going
Alicia,
to say all 4.
you're correct if you said all 4.
Mhm.
All 4 came back positive. We only test 18 and above. 18-year-old daughter, and don't be sad. I mean, I was just like, I told you, but hereditary is so rare. I didn't think everyone would go positive. But if you think about it, on both sides, they have rare cancers. Pancreatic, there's no symptoms until you get it, and then it's too late. Ovarian, same thing. Where are the symptoms? Breast, you're lucky if you find a lump. A lot of Black women have very dense breasts. So even if you go for your mammogram, you still can miss it. Okay. So 18-year-old daughter, BRCA1 for breast cancer. So she has a 60% chance of having breast or ovarian cancer within her lifetime. So what does that mean? We can start surveillance now. She can have mammograms. She can have an MRI. She can have ultrasounds. She can have her children and then have a hysterectomy and remove her breast. Eliminate all the potentials. She could watch her diet, eat healthy, things to be proactive. Her son, colon cancer, at 23, a mutated gene, MHR1. That gene, that particular gene has a mutation for colon cancer that is close to 90% within his lifetime. He's 23 years old. What is the age that they say to get screened for colon cancer? They
I think
reduced
45 or
they reduced it to 40.
40. Mhm.
So if her son waited till he's 40 to get screened for colon cancer, what does that tell you about his odds? Colon cancer is preventable. So now what that does is it opens the door. He can get screened every year now, and no charge. They can look for polyps and save his life. If it doesn't run chills down your back, like it does mine, and I've known for a while, it still brings me emotionally. Because they're beautiful people. We're all beautiful people. Just take the test. If you have a family history, take the test. She had breast and ovarian. Her sister had colon and breast mutations. So it's the same thing. They can get ahead and they can start having their screening, and especially her breast. She's like a triple D. How successful are mammograms? Very dense. So now she has a tool. She can go in, she can get an MRI now. And the insurance company can't bulk. Ultrasound. She can decide her and her doctor, have them removed. Those are decisions that you make with your doctor, but you take the results from the test and you share it with your doctor. Your primary doctor can refer you to an oncologist that will look at that test and go, okay, this is what we're looking at. So that's why I do what I do. And if I can get it in front of as many people as possible, because people don't know that this is available and this will save your life. Let me give you some stats on Black women. So Black women, non-Hispanic, Hispanic, Caribbean women are more likely to die of metastatic breast cancer. You can Google it. So breast cancer, as you know, is one of the most common forms of cancer. It's only second to skin cancer, melanoma. Do you know that? So 1 in 8 females, and I said this before, will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. However, women of color, they call us certain groups, Black Americans, Caribbeans, Hispanic women have a higher risk. Does anyone know why?
I guess because they don't get tested frequently.
Yeah, we're not compliant with getting our mammograms. That's one thing. Let's say next thing. We tend to have denser breasts. We have more muscle. We have denser breasts just by nature. Okay. So there are the studies in breast cancer, the rate of survival, like within 5 years, between 2012 and 2022, it's went from 65% to 90% survival rate. And that's not among us. That's among the white Caucasian, because they go and they get their mammograms. And if they suspect something in their tissue is easier to detect, they get the MRIs, they get the ultrasounds, you know, and we don't. So the best thing that we can do is to try to get ahead and try to lead the pack with getting hereditary cancer testing. It's just one test. I'm not saying don't go and get your mammograms, because of course you still need to go and get your mammograms, you know, but have a hereditary cancer test so that you can have a heads up if it runs in the family. And it's not just breast. So we're going to do 9 of the most common hereditary cancers that are developed, and they are 100% hereditary. So let's lead the pack with getting this test. And then still get your mammograms, but we know that we've checked that off. We don't have a mutated gene. Are there any questions?
Okay, so now, thank you so much, Monica, for that, for those information tips that you have given us. Very vital. I know we have learned a lot today, and now we're going to open for questions. Anyone have questions for Monica? You can raise your hand, or you can put it in the chat,
You can just talk.
or you can just talk. Anyone with questions? No questions? You know, Monica, I know what you present, as I said, is so powerful. Knowledge is power. And I love prevention. Prevention is better than a pound of ounce of cure. A pound of prevention or ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So if we can prevent, it's so important. Can you list off those, I think it was 7 or 8 types of cancer that you said were hereditary? If if anyone in your family have those, any one of those type of cancer, we need to get especially that test.
Absolutely. Let me do this. I probably should try to put it. I'll make sure that everyone has, if you even put your email in the message or get your email to me, because I can send you a brochure. So the 9 that we have that's 100% hereditary is breast, ovarian, prostate. And when I say prostate, the ovarian and breast mutation, if that goes to a male, of course, we don't have a prostate, but that male can pass down that prostate mutated gene to a daughter, and she has a high rate of getting breast cancer. They're both tied. So if you have an uncle, you have a father, you have a grandfather, someone that has had prostate cancer, you definitely want to get a test. Pancreatic, gastric, stomach, melanoma, skin, uterine, renal, and colon.
Okay, thank you. You know, many times when I think about genetics, I think we stop like at the second generation. I mean, like your parents and then grandparents. But you can also, I guess you have to also include extended families like your cousins and um other folks like that, because to think
That's
about it,
true.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, Emlyn, because with our company, and the reason why I work for our company, if you go positive, like my friend went positive, we will test not only her siblings, her children, we will test aunts, uncles, and cousins because it runs in the family at no charge. We have an ID once someone is positive, and we give it to the patient, we give it to the person, and they can test, we can test the entire family. We're
Okay,
serious about proactive.
right.
Mhm,
Yes, prevention.
prevention.
Yeah. So Monica, how can we get this test done? What are the process we have to go through? We have to contact you. How can we go about getting this test?
Well, what I do, and I've just started doing outreach into the community. I've partnered with Dr. Sinclair, who is a general surgeon, but she's a breast surgeon too. And she understands what challenges we have in our community. And so she does talks, and I test, I take the test, I take it back to her office. She'll look at the results and she'll order the panels. So I'm trying to, I have an open day on Sundays, and I tend to go around to the churches, and for a couple of hours, I'll have them notify their congregation on Friday or Saturday. And I go around to the churches and we do community testing. It doesn't cost anything. You need to have your insurance card, of course. And then we could talk about if you're a government plan, we know that's covered. If you're commercial, then we have ways of looking at compassionate care. We will not have the cost of this test be a factor to anyone. So I'll talk to you about your insurance. You'll always have my number. You can always text me and I'll help you.
Yeah. So
But
can you put your
I'm really looking at trying to work with the masses opposed to like onesie, twosie.
right?
Even though I will go across the world and to test because I'm so passionate about saving lives. But we're trying to work out a way that, I can come, even if it's like once a month, to your congregation, and everyone can know that I'm going to be there with staff and we get people tested.
Okay,
We'll come to you.
right. And you said we can do saliva, so we don't have
Yep,
to be afraid. If you're afraid of needles, you don't have to be
exactly.
afraid because you can just do saliva testing.
And we
which
even
is-
do mobile. Let's say you can't come out, but we can do a mobile test for the blood. And they can come to your house and draw.
Mhm.
They
I
won't
have-
do saliva at your house. but they will do blood at your house.
Okay,
I had a
Okay.
question.
go ahead, Lenore.
Okay, somebody has a question in the chat, but my question was, what if you live in another state? What are your options?
Okay, if you live in another state, notify me, because there is a representative that I can do a heads up to. And that representative will guide that person to the physician, be it primary physician, that is actually doing the test.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Someone,
Just text me.
yeah,
Or
someone is
there,
asked, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
there's a brochure that I'm gonna, if you guys can let me know, or people can put their emails in the chat, or let me have a list of emails and I can
Mhm.
send everyone a brochure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are
And
you
on the
available
back
to
of the
do-
brochure is an 800 number. Customer
Okay.
service will get you in contact with a rep in your area.
Okay. Are you available to do presentations locally?
I am.
Oh, good. I have a couple of people that will be very excited to know that.
Yeah, I talk to groups, of people just like this.
Okay, yeah. So someone is asking, if you have fibroids, can it lead to cancer?
Because I'm not a medical doctor, that would be a question for your physician.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Mhm.
For those of you, because I do not have everyone's email, if you would like to get more information, you can put your email in the chat. If you'd like to get more information and get in contact with Monica, so she can come out to your congregation and maybe do a presentation.
Mhm.
This was very informative, very
Yep.
informative.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. And Dr. Jennifer Sankey, she has my information. And like I said, I am open to group talks. I am working with the school system, with testing staff and teachers. And I will do this till I die. If literally I can do it until I die, but I am very flexible. I do cover Jacksonville too, but as my team grows, as I grow, my team will grow.
Mhm. Yeah, I see your passion. I see your passion.
Mhm.
Yes, and I know you mentioned something about prevention, diet.
That's
Um,
very important.
that, yes.
Exercise, diet. And I was looking at a study, and diabetes, obesity, and blood pressure are directly related to cancers too. So it's all about we live as we age. Unfortunately, our genes start mutating.
Mhm.
So we're at a disadvantage as we get older, but when you take this test and we can identify who has a higher risk than normal, you can get out ahead of it and just start doing things that living a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
And maybe, especially with melanoma being so high, that sunscreen and, protecting your skin.
Mhm.
There's things that we can do to help, alleviate that risk. They're not all surgical or, medical. They're just, common sense, just exercise.
Yes. Yes.
You need to eat well, stay away from fatty foods. And I don't want to be your mom, but you guys know,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
extra piece of cake,
Yes,
maybe
we
one
know.
day, but not every day.
Yeah, yeah. Someone is asking, can anyone be trained and work with your organization?
As we grow, as I need more people to help, I will definitely reach out to Dr. Sankey, and I'm gonna go from the community that I work for. And if I need help, we need to grow, then I am going to, she's the first one I'm gonna go to. Because right now it's just me. But you guys get me busier.
Okay, we sure will. Well,
Okay.
yes. Let me see, anyone else with questions? We don't want to miss anyone. I do not see any hands, and I think I just looked at the chat. I did not see any other questions, but I
Let
have
me give
your,
you my email, and anyone can send me a quick email. It's Spence, Spence. Don't put an R there, right?
the
Spence
volume is done or something.
at Natera, and that's NATERA.com. Just send me a quick email. That's probably easier. Send me an email. I'll have your email. And I could send you like a quick summary of what I do when I'm doing I don't just do a talk. I'm gonna scream. I mean, this is rare that I'm doing a Zoom and I'm not screaming. I'm getting the itch. I'm like, I'm sure there's people on this call that could get screened and tested. So you're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't worry, Monica. We are going to be coming to you because I know everyone on this call is interested in doing that screening.
Okay.
Knowing it's free, sure, everyone. When will you speak on the environmental cancers?
I don't speak on the environmental cancers because I don't cover the environmental, but what I can do is I can get you a link.
Okay.
For more information, and you can listen to a talk. Okay, that'll be my homework.
Okay.
Is to get you guys a link, and
Right.
I'll give it to Dr. Jennifer Sankey.
Right.
And then everyone can go in and listen to that talk.
That would be great.
That
because
talks about all cancers.
Yes, because we do have those environmental cancers that is quite prevalent in some society, some communities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, they're higher, they're 80%. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So so we'll be glad to get that link so we can learn more about that. Thank you.
Hey, Monica.
Yes. And
Did
Dr.
you mention
Sinclair
that
could
you're in
talk on
North
that too.
Orlando
Huh?
on the last Sunday of every month?
I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Because if they live local in the Orlando area, then that way they can come get testing if they like to.
North
Orlando
actually,
church.
Yeah, it's the fourth Sunday. So if you guys, any of you guys, 2 Sundays from now, right? Or next Sunday, not this Sunday. Oh, you're mutated. The last Sunday of this month.
I think you'll be there on the 30th, right?
That's the fourth Sunday, right? That's the fourth Sunday.
The fourth Sunday.
Yeah, I'm there every fourth Sunday. North Orlando. You're mutated. Or you're muted. Not mutated.
I know. Yeah. So those of you who are living locally, October 23rd, Monica will be at the North Orlando Adventist Church of Hiwassee. I do not know the exact address, but I know it's off of Hiawassee, the North Orlando Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Mhm.
So every fourth Sunday, they Monica and her group will be there to do, and Dr.
Mhm.
Sinclair.
It's
Yeah.
not just hereditary, but we do diabetes, we check sugar, blood pressure, weight. It's nice. Sister Cush manages that.
Okay, well, again, thank you, Monica. Thank you so much for coming. I know you weren't able to do screening as you normally do, but this was so powerful, such good information for us that we can take back and at least do something with it. And we are going to be visiting you, those of us who are local, will be visiting you at the North Orlando Adventist Church next Sunday.
Mhm.
And if you can come next Sunday, just remember every fourth Sunday of the
Right.
month. And
But I
someone
want
just
to come
put,
to your church too.
and
So
right. And
exactly.
also we can invite you to your,
Mhm.
yes. And someone just put in the chat the North Orlando
Yep,
Adventist Church
that's the
address,
address.
4125 North Hiawassee Road in Orlando,
Can I say
Florida.
something really quickly?
Sure.
Sure, go ahead,
I
Lenore.
just wanted to thank you. This is so timely. Not that it ever is a timely, but it's very timely. And I'm thinking of all the lives that will be saved just by getting this information out to everybody, as many people as possible, and by having the testing. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm
You're
thinking of
welcome.
people, family members that could have been saved if
Yep.
we had done this.
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks again. Thanks
You're
again.
welcome. Thank you.
Yes. And we want to thank our audience for coming. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we thank you. Am I muted? No. I thank you again. Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome. Should I?
So I
leave
didn't, that's
or-
fine. You can stay on, because what we do at the end, we normally have a period where we pray, ask for prayer requests, and we do a prayer. But before we do that, we always like to stop recording. Let me do that first. Are you sure you want to stop recording? Yes.